So the most popular question I'm probably asked almost on a day-to-day basis is, what drill do I do to work on X, right? Or a lot of times it's just simply, what drill do I work on? What drill is going to help me do this? What drill is going to help me do that? And I think what people are looking for is kind of the magic, like the easy button or the magic sauce as to like what particular drill is going to allow them to work on all of these wonderful things that they magically want to improve on. I think it has a lot more to do, like of my own belief, it has a whole lot more to do with application of the concept or technique that you're trying to improve, regardless of the actual like dedicated or set up drill. So like very rarely do I come out to the range and actually set up a particular drill in a prescribed order as somebody might write in a book or might tell me on video or something like that. And it's more about just self-exploration and self-diagnostics. So in this case, I've got a steel at about 15, 16 yards. I've got a paper target at 19 yards. I've got this close partial target at about 5 yards. And I've got that partial target all the way out there to the right side, also at about 19 yards. And I'm just going to work a multitude of different directions over the course of a practice session, just learning what's out there and what I need to do to improve a particular exercise or to improve a particular skill. In this case, I'm looking at improving not only transitions, but also throttle control, throttling up and throttling down. And you don't have to set anything in a dedicated manner or a prescribed manner. Just set something out that seems interesting to you and then approach it with a purposeful practice regimen. And that practice regimen for me, as I kind of talk about in classes, like I call it the rule of 10. And so like that rule of 10 for me is, first you need to establish a baseline. And establishing that baseline isn't necessarily just a singular cold run on something. And I don't mean cold like cold temperature. I'm talking about cold, you've never set it up, you've never shot it 100 times before. You simply set it up and you're going to do like a kind of just a cold performance. That cold performance is more than just one rep. For me, I like to work an average or an aggregate of 3. So I'll shoot it one direction for 3 times, and I'll look at all 3 times as well as just kind of my aggregate hits on all of them. And as long as I'm being mindful of what my hits are visually, I'm not shooting beyond my speed of vision, and then I'm just looking for consistency on those first 3 reps, that then sets my baseline. And then that baseline is what I then look to adjust high or low, not high or low, but what I adjust my level of aggression to in exploration of what's out there. So I'll set an array like this. I'll shoot it, let's say, right to left 3 times back to back. I'm looking for majority alphas. I'm looking for no big glaring mistakes. I'll make up shots where I need to. And I'm looking at, okay, what is my best consistent performance on this? Just approaching this from, I need to get my hits at whatever the time it takes me to get it. Once I establish that, then I'll spend the next 4 to 5 repetitions just exploring what's out there. And when I'm exploring what's out there, I've got to kind of discipline myself to that it's okay to kind of let go of pure accuracy for the sake of learning or understanding kind of where that speed foot goes and just how fast or how aggressive I could engage all the targets. I'll still make up misses if I see misses. I'll make up shots, miss shots on steel, things like that if I need to. But other than that, I'm looking just to kind of see what's out there. Once I've kind of established or I've set some marks in my exploration mode, then I'm going to spend the next 2 to 3 runs. And of course, then we've got 3. Then we had an exploration of 5. Now I'm going to set, or 4 to 5. So there's my 7 to 8 runs. Now for the next 2 or the last 2 or 3 runs, I'm going to then establish that baseline of consistency again. So I'm going to maintain the level of accuracy or the level of aggression that I had on the 5 runs I was exploring, only now I'm going to take that accuracy component and I'm going to put it back in to see if I've made a marked improvement from my first baseline of 3 runs to my ending baseline or my ending run or average of 3 runs for that total of 10. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to get back to it here and I'll kind of let you just kind of watch along. Stand by. That's a 363. Let's do it again. That's a 345. One more. And that's a 346. So hovering around right at about that 354, 355 mark for consistency. I'm all alphas with looks like 1 Charlie on the 19-yard open target. I'm all alphas in this 5-yard partial. I went 1 for 1 on the steel. No other makeup shots needed anywhere. And I'm all alphas, and it looks like I clipped a no shoot on the on that low boy partial down there. Again, that's a 19-yard target, but I'm happy with where I'm placing my eyes and where I'm placing the dot, and I'm being patient enough just to see that. Kind of pushing it just a little bit there, but for all in all, what I'm trying to do is just maintain consistency on that. So now that I've set my baseline of 3, now of course is where I get to really explore some things. So I want to say I'm just throwing accuracy out of the water, but what I am doing is I'm kind of just going to suspending. I have to get alphas for everything for a moment just to see how far I can start to push things. That's where I'm really going to be more reliant on what I'm seeing from the timer and starting to look at all those individual figures. Splits on the far targets, splits on this close target, what my transitions are. And then I'm also looking at what kind of patterns develop on the targets. Am I too far to the right, too far to the left? If I'm not being patient or disciplined to hold the sights directly to where my eyes are looking, do I find myself visually chasing the sights versus getting my eyes to a spot and driving the sights or driving the dot directly to that spot? Am I being patient to see what I need to and slow or stop or suspend the dot to that spot as I'm pressing the trigger? Am I watching myself? Am I watching the dot dip as I'm pressing the trigger? Am I feeling that extra tension start to build up? And if I haven't, or if I am seeing those things, again, I will then continue down that road of exploration. I may then focus on isolating particular targets to work on one thing at a time to see if I can put individual pieces of the puzzle together before then looking at the entire big picture again. And then, of course, I'm always working for consistency, not just for a one and done, hey, I did it in, let's say, I don't know, sub 3 seconds. It's, can I do it in whatever that new time is consistently? Because I truly don't believe you own a skill until you own it consistently. So anyway, I hope that helps. I hope that gives you some ideas on how to expand your practice and also to expand kind of your level of self-diagnosis and self-awareness without it necessarily being, I must work on this one prescribed drill. You just set things out and then put the mind to work. So until next time, I wish you guys a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. From my family to yours, I'm Tim with Tim Aaron Shooting. Thanks.